Hello friends and potential friends. Well, I haven't taken you for a walk in the garden recently, so figured it's about time. Up here on the patio I've got a few spare tomatoes. This one here is a Praxis cherry. This one that's kind of hidden up here in all the brush is an Everglades tomato. And I believe this one is either a Homestead or a Garden Peach. I don't remember. Of course, I still got some comfrey down there that I haven't done anything with. I think I'm going to take that out to my mom when I head out that way. Got my never-ending mint. And over here in the tower, I've got quite a bit of ginger and turmeric coming up. And there's more popping up every day. The lower levels are not quite as populated as the upper levels, but they are trying. The upper levels are doing good. It looks like this top tier is completely filled now. I think that center tier might be close to filled also. Out here in the experimental garden, I've got a few potatoes coming up. There's one over there, and there's one over there. Oh, there's another one over there. And plenty of weeds. A little bit of rosemary, a little more comfrey. A little bit of snowflake. Hi, snowflake. Hi. Yeah, gotta get my kitty fix. Elderberries doing okay. The aloe still hanging in there. I really need to get that transplanted and get it some more room. I did take all the knobs off of this pineapple, and I've got, let's see, you may have seen me plant 2 of them. The other 2 I put in water so they could grow roots. I don't think that's really necessary, but it's kind of satisfying to watch the roots develop on them things. The other 2 pineapples up here are still coming along nicely. My sweet potato slips are bouncing back pretty good. Got more tomatoes in here. These are Praxis cherries. In my herb tower, haven't planted many herbs. I do have some thyme planted in here. Got one volunteer lettuce that's somehow alive. Couple of weeds. And over around this side is the basil. I got 2 Thai basils and 1 dark opal basil. More rosemary, more comfrey. This was the first jalapeno that I planted, and it's got fruit hanging all over on it. Plus I picked a number of them already. Got some more sweet potato slips that are starting to get big enough to plant. I may send some of those to a friend of mine. And over here in the quote pepper bed, yep, we got peppers. These are mostly jalapenos, and they've got blossoms and peppers all over them. Couple of sweet banana peppers down here at the end, and they've also got sweet potato vines all over them, because my sweet potatoes from seed have reseeded. And incidentally, I did take some cuttings off of them a while back, put them in a jar of water in the lab to let them grow roots. So I'm going to treat those cuttings as if they were slips and put them in a container out here somewhere. See what happens with them. And I've been going around mulching as much as possible, trying to keep the weeds away from the electric fence. And I still have some more work to do on that. But while I was doing it, I started noticing I've got things popping up in the walkways out here. We'll call them weeds, because really a weed is just something that's growing where you don't want it to be growing. Let me get out of the sunlight here. That right there is purslane. It's an edible succulent. Makes a good addition to salads. But I don't want it growing in the walkway because I need to put more mulch out here. Another weed that I've got growing out here quite a bit is sweet potatoes. Those sweet potatoes from seed are going everywhere, trying to take over the whole garden. The purslane I'm going to move into a container. The sweet potatoes that come down into the walkway, I'm going to consider them weeds because they're growing where I don't want them. Back in the tomatoes. Tomatoes are getting pretty tall. And I've been getting a few. Most of these are the garden peach. You see one back there that's just about ripe. And up in the front here I've got Everglades. And I've been picking a lot of those. But I'm also finding that I've got some kind of bug in here. I haven't been able to track it down yet. Probably some kind of a worm, and what it's doing is drilling holes into the fruit themselves. Not messing with the vines, just the fruits. I may have to get out some kind of an organic spray and do a little bit of spraying, though I really don't like spraying the food that I'm going to be eating. Oh, my greens bed, it's just going crazy. I can't keep up with it. I can't eat enough. These cabbage collards are delicious, but I've been eating so many of them, I'm getting kind of over it. Same thing with the kale, even the Swiss chard in here. My corn bed, doing pretty good. They're up about 1 foot to 1.5 foot. Close to 2 feet in some cases. And then I've got a couple of the mammoth Russian sunflowers down there that are headed for the sky. I have to put a rope around this pretty soon. The American hybrid mammoths are not doing all that well for me. I've reseeded those twice, and so far I've only got 2 plants coming up, and they don't look all that great. In my other pepper bed, well, down at this end I've got sweet banana peppers, and I've been picking off of them also. Those are the first ones to form every year, it seems like. But something I'm kind of happy about, I've also got a few bell peppers starting to form. I've had mixed success with bell peppers in the past, so I'm just hoping I get some this year. More tomatoes. Let's see, this one's a homestead here. Got a little bit of a split to it, but it's starting to ripen. The rest of these are Floridad, and I've picked a couple of these also. Got quite a few more on there. And then around on this side, I've got some more of the homesteads, more Praxis cherry tomatoes. I've picked a lot of those on this side. I see there's a few more down there that are about ready to come off. Closer look at the pineapples. That one's doing pretty good, softball size. That's actually a little bit smaller than the original one that grew knobs on it. And then back here in the corner, I've got one that's baseball size. So they're coming along nicely. More sweet potato slips. Couple more sweet potatoes I'm still watching. And there's my ginger that I put out here in the direct sunlight to see how it reacted. And then finally, here's the patience garden. I mentioned I've been mowing a little bit, so I put a layer of mulch in here last week, just slowly building up the soil level, and these things just keep on producing. And I can't wait till next year when I get to start eating. They are looking pretty good, rather tempting. But that's just a quick look around. Oop, there's Snowflake again. Maybe I'll stick a couple of pictures in at the end here of what I've been harvesting over the last week or so. I don't get a big harvest, but I get a lot of little ones, and it adds up. Roughly half of what I pick goes into the freezer, the other half goes into the belly. And I think that's a pretty good arrangement. So anyway, that's just a quick look around, and I'll see you next time.